Hello everyone and welcome to my lovely kitchen table. Today I have an eyeshadow palette collection and declutter video here for you. I was actually thinking about doing this later on in the year, in December, like at the end of the year, decluttering, but I am in the process of upgrading my shelves for my makeup collection, and since I have a new shelf for all my eyeshadows, I needed to get them out of the old one anyway, so here we are. Also, if I sound a bit rough, it is because I am. I've been sick again, the second time in like 2 months where I've been really sick, and now I'm on antibiotics, and I'm just hoping that it will work out for me. But if I sound rough, that is all it. Also, if my nails look a bit rough, it's because I wanted to do them for this video because you will be looking at my hands, but I was a bit shaky, and I don't know, am I shaky because I'm on antibiotics and I'm like shaking, sweating, like I don't know, or is it B, because I had my first jug, no, I wouldn't say cup because my cups are very big, of coffee. I had my first coffee in like almost a week, and I didn't eat anything because I feel a bit nauseous of my antibiotics, so you know. Or is it C? Or both of those reasons. It probably is. Anyways, if my nails annoy you, I'm sorry. It's I was shaky, and it is what it is. So we're gonna do my eyeshadow collection. It is a big one. I have tried to organize it due to brand, but there might be like some things that have ended up in weird piles because I have a super big eyeshadow collection, and I love indie eyeshadow. I love to discover new eyeshadow brands, so like I might have some brands that you haven't heard of before. So if you want to see all of my eyeshadows and what I get rid of, keep on watching and grab, like, I don't know, grab a coffee, grab a snack. This will be a long one. So I hope this lighting is okay. I did have daylight, but then the sun moved around the building before I could film, so you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna start off with a random pile of like random brands, because this is my Project Pan and new eyeshadow like pile of eyeshadow palettes. If I put my Project Pan eyeshadows back with the rest of them, I will mix it up and it will be a disaster. So I will talk about those first. There might be some spoilers, I don't know, depending on when I edit this. But let's talk about this beautiful palette first. I had to get this. This is the Nomad Cosmetics Fuji 5 Lakes palette, and this is like the most beautiful palette in my entire collection. The artwork is just amazing, and I have not touched this yet because I have been sick. So this looks absolutely gorgeous inside. All of these colors make sense for the destination, which I really appreciate. And yeah, it's such a beautiful palette. One thing about Nomad is that they like to add blues in their palettes, and I think blue is a very stunning shade to wear, but it's not anything I gravitate to because I find it a bit too difficult. It sometimes looks like a bruise on me. I'm very pale, so they always like add blue in their eyeshadow palettes. But I have this one. I have not touched it yet. It is absolutely beautiful. I am going to Japan in October, in like 4.5 weeks, and I am so excited. I won't be going to Mount Fuji this time, but I have been to this area, and yeah, it is lovely. So that is the new palette in my collection that I have not yet used. From my project pan, I have this Skylove Art Nouveau palette. This is the Klimt, I think, yeah, it's the Kiss artwork. It is absolutely, I love this. I'm so sad that Skylove is no longer a brand, because I really jived with their like idea of taking art pieces and making them into palettes. So I have been having this in a project pan. This is what that palette looks like. I have, you can probably see what shade I was working on. I'm gonna try to not show you my disgusting sick face in the mirror. I'm gonna keep this. It's very nice. The pans are super deep, I discovered, but it is a nice palette and I will keep it. This is my Panda palette in order for this year. This is what it's looking like. It's from the brand Glam Shop, which is a Polish brand. It is looking loved and abused, and after this year I will figure out what to do with the rest of the remainder of the shadows. I am currently trying to pan in this red one, and yeah, this is also this is from Sugar Drizzle Cosmetics. I think they are making a comeback. There was some controversy with this brand that I do not know about. This is a Sugar Dreams palette, and it's a all shimmer palette with stunning sweet shades. Absolutely love all shimmer palettes. I know it's not for some people, but I still love them, so I'm gonna keep this. Of course, it's in my project pan. All of these in project pans will be kept. This is the Kaima Cosmetics Skulls and Roses palette. It's a new palette for this year, and it is a grungy dream. Very cool. These special shades are absolutely stunning. I mean, trying to not, yeah, I don't know how well you will see that, but it is gorgeous. Then we have a Juvia Space palette. This is a Nomad palette, and it is a very nice green toned palette, perfect for fall. I still enjoy all of my Juvia Space palettes, even though they are a couple of years now. But yeah, this is what the Nomad looks like. In my Makeup Panners book club, I am working on this Blend Money Cosmetics The Machina palette. I absolutely love this palette. I know that they did not continue on with this, but for me, I really appreciate this. It is super nice, and yeah, this is what that one looks like. We have my Odin's Eye. This is the collab. The second collab with Judy. It's the Spring Dragon palette. It is a very pretty packaging. I absolutely love the packaging of this one, and it looks like this. A pastel dream. It's a bit underwhelming, I must say. I have been using this yellow one on the inner corner quite a lot, and that is actually very pretty, but overall, like, it is, I know it's a pastel palette, but it's a very sheer, in my opinion, pastel palette. But it is fine, and like, I love the packaging, so it's a bit better because the packaging is so great, right? This is from Gourmand Girls. It's their Christmas palette from a couple of years ago. It's that time of year palette, and it looks like this, which is, I think, a very versatile palette. It's not only a Christmas palette, in my humble opinion. I think that you can wear this, like, it fits well for many occasions throughout the year. And yeah. And then finally, from my Project Pan pile, we have this big ass palette from Sensorium Beauty. This is their Chapter 1 palette, and yeah, it's a big boy. I'm wondering now, like, if I need to zoom out some. It's a very matte heavy palette, but the shadows perform really well. So yeah, that is it from my project pan pile and my new eyeshadow pile. Okay, now in no particular order, I'm gonna grab what is in front of me. Let me start off with, shall we continue with a brand I know I won't declutter anything from? Let's talk about my Odin's eyeshadow collection. So I have these 3 from their, like, what was the collab called? Because it was like all of these, this is Flora, Sea and Planet. I can't remember what the like overall name was, but it's a collab with Betty Bean, Laura May Beauty and Makeup Just for Fun, and these palettes are really cute. I would love to be able to travel with this, but I tried and the shadows are breaking. I just need to see if I can press that back. So I don't trust these palettes to take traveling, but this is like a super fun and bright color story. Unfortunately, this shade has broken and it's the most stunning iridescent shade. Then we have Lauren's collab, which looks like this. Absolutely beautiful. Or will I? Maybe I should take this to Japan with me. I don't know. Maybe. It is gorgeous. And then we have the green palette from Amanda, which looks like this. This is probably the least used one of these because I'm more of a colorful girl than than some, but it is still a very pretty palette. And yeah, let's grab piles here. We have the 2 Christmas palettes from, is it 2 years ago now? These are absolutely gorgeous. This is like one of the best color stories that Odin's Eye have released, and up until this day. Fight me about it, but I think so. It is like, they are just lovely. I think I prefer this one, the Merry Christmas palettes, a bit more than the Christmas Eve. But yeah, they are so stunning. Then we have the 2 Christmas palettes from last year, the Hey Reindeer and the Snow Dreams. The formula in this is not the same, I would say. They have some flaky shades that are a bit tricky to use. This like holographic shade is quite tricky, and also this shade here called Christmas Ham. And I feel like the sparkly shades overall has a lot more glitter, like fallout. You get glitter everywhere than what they used to have, but it is still like, I still love Odin's Eye eyeshadows. This color story was not the same hit, I think, as the old Christmas palettes, but still nice palettes. Then we have their Halloween release with Angelica Nyqvist, the Hella palettes. This is the Little Ghost and the Trick or Treat palette. These are also lovely. I think Angelica did such a great job with these palettes. Again, I think this one is my favorite. It kind of reminds me of the Merry Christmas palette, but with a bit more like orange, Halloween appropriate colors. But yeah, these are great. Period. Let's talk about the other Hella palette here. This is their first collab, and this is like the only palette that I kept the sleeve because I love the artwork. So this is the first Hela palette, and it is absolutely beautiful. This is one that I have taken traveling sometimes because I just love the variety that you can get from this. It is beautiful. Then I have some of the old palettes with like this more matte packaging. We have their first Elva palette, which is, you know, very old now. I'm still keeping it. I still think that this is like nice. This is also something I'm contemplating having as my Panda palette in order. So I'm gonna put it aside and make a pile of those palettes that I think I might do like try and pan every single shade. But this is the Elva. And then we have the Elva 2. This one had pressed glitters, which was a bit annoying for many people. It's a nice pastel, more colorful palette. And I haven't used it a lot recently, but I mean, I have a pan and there are some very nice shades here. So keeping that one. And the Norns, I have the old one, so I have the old round pans. This was so, I love this one when it first came out because they had these shifty shades and I did not have them in any other palette from what I remember. So I felt like this was very, very special. This chameleon shade is absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I just love the grungy tones in this still to this day. So I am absolutely keeping it. We have a very old palette here. This is the Solmåne, like the original Solmåne palette. And it is no longer in production. I have used this a lot this year because I hadn't used it at all, and then I felt like this could be a contester for Panda palette in order. So I've been trying to figure out how deep are the pans. I have used this one and I was able to hit pan. These are performing so great. These shades, this orange, this like dusty pink, and this are really, really nice transition shades. So I am absolutely gonna keep this. It is still to this day performing really great. We have the Saga of Freya. I have this one and I have this one. They had a third one which I did not get, so this is the double-sided. It's the Freya Saga palette. So this is what one side looks like. You can see my stunning chandelier there in the mirror. And this is what the other side is looking like. This has been in a project. Not my favorite Odin eye palettes, but I'm gonna keep it anyways. And this is the cat carriage, cat with a golden carriage, whatever. And it looks like this. And gonna keep this one as well. I'm keeping all of my Odin's Eye palettes. I have this. I did not get the other one. This is a Stone and Rock one. I can't remember what the other one was called, but and I did not get this on release, but I got it in like later. It is actually very, very pretty. I thought it was going to be too basic for me, but I do enjoy these green tones. I love green eyeshadow, so we are keeping that one. And then we have the two other Solmåne palettes, Solmåne 2 and Solmåne 2. What are we? Moon Wish? Yeah, I know. So Solmåne, this word, I heard a lot of, like, when people say it in English, they say soulmane, but sol is sun and måne is moon, and that A with a dot on is like when you say ball, maybe, that's the sound you want to make, and you want to pronounce the final E. like which is just like, yeah, it's how you pronounce it in Swedish. What am I going to say? The Swedish teacher in me wants to like go into a linguistic phonetic lesson here, but I this will be long enough anyways. This is the first like re-release of Solmåne, released during summer. It is absolutely stunning, very, very nice summer palette. And then this one was released this year, right? Yeah, it was. And I also really love this. Have not used it as much as I had want to, but I think it's a nice like transitioning into fall, because this is a much brighter palette, and I think that this one is a bit more gloomy, so a good palette to transition into fall with. Then finally I have the collabs with some of the YouTubers. So we have the two collabs with the Fancy Face. So this is the first one, the Hummingbird palette, which is a really, really cute, colorful palette. And then the Earthwood palette, which they released this year, and it looks like this. I did a palette bingo with both of these together, and yeah, I think I really enjoyed this like color story. This used to be my vibes, but I feel like I have grown with the Fancy Face to like now I really appreciate a color story like this. This green is absolutely gorgeous. I dug my finger in a shade. Yeah. And then finally we have the collab with Annette's Makeup Corner. Let's do it like that. Which is also a YouTuber. This is the first collab, the Giant Walls palette, which is grungy and nice. And then we have this Mighty Monster palette, which they released this year, which is also really, really lovely. I can absolutely see myself use this more during the fall. I think I'm gonna make a little fall pile with eyeshadow palettes that I want to reach into more during the fall season. So those were my Odin's Eye palettes. So now let's go into a brand which I know I won't be getting rid of anything from either, and that is my pile of Glosscoats palettes. So first off we have this one. This is the What's Your Power palette. It is so bright, colorful, and absolutely lovely. I was shocked. I panned this shade this year. It's called Kind, and it is the most stunning duochrome, multi-chrome shade ever. Like, do you see? It looks so green, and then, but it is also very, yeah, maybe you can see in the mirror. It's blue and green and purple, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It blew my mind because I did not really expect it from that shade. So that is gorgeous. I think they released these ones this year. It's their continuation of the Girl on Da 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 series. So the Gal on Jupiter. The first Gal on Jupiter is a cool toned, very neutral palette. Don't know what possessed me to get this. I think I was just having the collector's mind to catch them all. But it is actually very nice. There is I think one or two hollow chromatic shades in this one. So also maybe good to pull out during fall. The first Gal on Venus is a very warm tone palette. Feels a bit like Blast from the Past with these like super warm toned shades. There was a time, like the modern Renaissance time, where it was so in to have these warm toned. We have the Lavender Skies, which is very pretty. These shades are so nice on the lids. I absolutely love it. We have the Color of Rain, which is a bit more bluish. This is basically an all shimmer palette apart from this matte black here. Don't know if the idea is to put down the black and then top it off with to have even more of an impact, but you don't really need it with these shades because they are very, very high impact as is. And just because that I picked like a topper shade. Well, whatever. Dancing in the Sky is a green girl, green dream, a green lover, green, what am I trying to say? It is absolutely very stunning. We have Look for Rainbows. You can find a theme here, a lot of sky themed names. A bit more colorful, but still very stunning. And these old ones, the First Gal on the Moon palette, they re-released these this year, but since I had the old ones, I'm not one to buy the same palette again if I still can make, like if I still can use, and I don't think that the quality is bad on these ones. The First Gal on Mars is this one. I think that they redid this with like one different shade, like some different shades. So I was contemplating getting it, but then I opted out. But I'm keeping all of my Gloss Gods palettes as well. I promise I'm going to declutter at some point, but I'm just getting off, like, talking about a lot of the palettes which I know I'm going to keep everything. So let's talk about Unearthly Cosmetics, which I do have a lot of their palettes. I don't have like any of their newest palettes in the like the new shapes. I felt like the price got a bit high and I didn't feel a super pull to get any of them. I probably will. I fantasized about the Spring Magic palette and the Jelly Bumpy Jelly palette. Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about the ones I have, not the ones I don't have. This is the Grind palette, which is really lovely. I should have this out for fall. I feel like this green and the oranges really breathes fall to me. This one also should be used during fall. I think this is the old Alien Cosmetics the Lore palette. I love this packaging. Love me a Medusa. Stunning palette. Even though this is the old formula, it is still so excellent. Excellent and lovely and nice. Another palette I should be bringing out this season is the Witching Hour palette, obviously. Really pretty. I want to use, because I'm always so attracted to these grungy colors like this green or a grungy yellow, but then I feel like I don't use them, but it's like what pulls me in. So this season I'm going to wear all the grungy colors that I so desperately want to. We have the Poison Apple palette. This is also the old packaging. That is what this one looks like. Gorgeous. We have the Dead of Night palette, which is dark and gloomy and absolutely lovely. Have not used that one enough. We have this one, which has been re-released in like their new style of packaging. This is absolutely gorgeous. I am so in love with this palette. I had this shade in for my product pan and it blew me away. It looks so modest, but honestly it is like basically what felt like a holochromatic shade before they even made those. It was just something about it, layering it with other shadows. It was absolutely gorgeous, and this swatch was absolutely horrendous. I am so sorry. We have these two from their Halloween collection 2-3 years ago. So Strange is my favorite of them. This one here, this shade is so beautiful. It is insane how beautiful and creamy it is. I don't even know this. It doesn't look like this lighting is doing it any justice, but it is unbelievable. And then we have the 1984, which looks like this. It's a bit different, but cool. And yeah, the Fairy Frolic palette is like this. Also a very nice fall appropriate grungy toned palette. I should pull out all of my Unearthly palettes because all of them are very seasonal, like fall appropriate, I think. We have this one, which is the, what was it called? In the Dark palette. This is the old one. I know they switched out one of these iridescent shades because in this palette they are quite similar. So they made one of them a bit more impactful and different. So I have the old one. The Not Normal palette looks like this. Also very pretty. We have the Smells Like a Holiday Spirit. This packaging is gorgeous. We love a grungy moment. And that is what that one looks like. And we have this collab with Rudo. Shipocracy. I'm sorry. This is not very used in my collection, but I'm still gonna keep it. I will want to play around more with this, but it's like a rainbow palette, and it's not the one thing I reach for that often. We have the Vitality palette, which is really pretty. I hope they re-release this one because it was so, when it came, I felt like it was very one of its kind. Not getting rid of any of those, as I said. Now, I have a pile of some, let's talk about my Cosmic brushes, Cosmic Beauty. We have the Gothic palette, which was their like holiday or Halloweenish release last year. Very pretty. They have such a nice formula, one of my favorite formulas that I have. The two recent releases, the Trials. We have the Cool Trials palette, which looks like this. And I was like, it looks so beige, but if I tilt it, it looks better. And the Neutrals palette. Now I'm not a nudie girl, I like my color, but these, like, the formula is so great, and I think they're news with a twist, like everyone said when they released. But yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous. It's the Wonderland palette, Winter Wonderland, and these blend so nicely on the lids. As I said, I'm not like always pulling for blue eyeshadow, but this is like blue, a different blue, and you have a lot of purple, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm blown away every time I use this on my eyes, on how nice I think the shadow performs. The Serenity palette broke the internet, but can you blame the internet looking at this? So gorgeous. I should pull out my... Maybe try and hit pan in all of my Cosmic Beauty palettes. We have the Muse palette, which is similar to the Serenity but still different, and it is also very, very gorgeous. I'm amazed at like the color stories that she comes up with. I think the color stories are so attractive. The pastel palette, what is it called? Delicious Delights. It looks like this. The one thing is that you have a very dark multi-chrome here, which I feel like is a bit tricky to get to use with any of the, because it's pretty light palette otherwise. And then you have like a black based multi-chrome. And we have this one, what are you called? The Royal Roses, which looks like this. Love this brand, will purchase whatever they release. I am just so in love with everything. I think the quality is superb and the price is also superb. Wow, Helena, such insightful comments. Let's take this random pile here. First we have Shroud Cosmetics. We have two of their Creepy Cute palettes, which is this one, and there we are, and this one. Gonna keep both of these, they perform really nice. They are all matte palettes, but I think they are very cute, as the name suggests. And then we have the collab with Batty Bee and It's Freaking Bats. I also want to pull this season and use the grungy, this green. It is very nice. I have a little pile here of palettes from Unique Beauty. Don't know what's happening with this brand, but they have so cute palettes. This is the Japan Volume 2. And as you can see, this shade is not driving. Let me press you back and clean it up. There we go. I have Japan Volume 1 as well. This is just such a cute 6 pans, and you have like special... The shimmer shades are really creamy, and some are like of the more duochromatic shades. They are a bit more loosely pressed and flaky, but I mean, look at that. Look at that. Maybe I should pull these because I'm going to Japan and I need to. We have the Roots palette, and as you can see, these shades are also dangerously close to saying goodbye. But that is that one. And then we have the Spa Day Pamper Me palette. I don't think this brand exists anymore, which is a bit sad. This is from Pink Crush Cosmetics, and this is the Origins Unknown. This one is very similar in color story to the Batty Beam. I feel like the Batty Bean is a bit grungier, but yeah, there are similarities. I do agree. But it's a nice. I do enjoy the formula actually. We have the Pink Crush. This looks a bit nasty, I think, or had it not seeped somehow? Maybe not. This is an all shimmer palette with special shades. We have the Phenomena palette, which is also an all shimmer palette, looking like that. The Lucid Dreams palette looks like this. Kind of reminds me of the Unearthly, what was it? Dead of Night palette a bit, but this is a very nice one. So I'm gonna keep those even though the brand doesn't exist anymore, because I still think that the shadows perform great. From Kylo, as I said, this is no longer a brand, but I have some of their palettes. We have the Le Jardin Volume 2. Looks like this. Bright Fun. I'm gonna keep. The formula is actually very nice. And we have the Van Gogh palette, which is also something we should use now. Right. Meow. We have the Impressionism palette. This is from when they were called Musée Beauty even. Looks like that. And we have the Rococo palette. Looks like that. So I don't know what possessed them to make the bulky packaging when they had slim. I don't know why they did that, but that was a decision that was made. I have two Beauty Bay palettes here. This one is their holiday release from a couple of years ago. Absolutely beautiful. I love this one. It's the Dark Fantasy. This looks like that. It is dark and gloomy and very, very nice. Love it. Then we have the collab with Nikki Tutorials, which is getting a bit older now. This is also something that I contemplate having as my Panda palette in order. Let me know what you think. Beauty Bay shades are not too deep, so could be a possible palette to work on. I have a brand here from a brand I tested out quite recently for the first time. It's called Beauty Moon Cosmetics, and I have videos testing out this palette. It is the Cosmology palette. Looks like this. Very pretty. It's a UK based indie brand, and I really enjoyed the palettes. This is the In the Bleak Midwinter palette, and it is very pretty. Looks like that. Now, this is a brand I don't know if I should keep. It's from Declutter Cosmetics. I have kept these and kept this, but I'm not using them. So this is the Neon palette, and it looks like this. It's an all matte palette, and I think I can find a good home for this one. It is very pretty, and I think that the shades are performing like great. But I'm just like, I do have so many palettes in my collection, and I never reach for this. And I never reach for this. So I'm gonna declutter this one. Then I have three of their like goddesses palette. So this is the Hera palette. It looks like this. I have a pan here. Maybe it's time to say goodbye to this one as well, even though it is very stunning. It's just, I'm not reaching for it. Someone else could. The Aphrodite palette looks like this. Same story here. I'm not reaching for these. And then we have the Athena palette. This is so difficult. I'm gonna declutter them. I'm gonna find them a better home where someone will use them. It is decided. I have a random pile here. LH Cosmetics, the Daybreak palette. This is just so not my jam. It doesn't inspire me at all. I don't know what possessed me to get this, but I'm gonna declutter it, find a new home for people with more neutral, cool-toned preferences than I have. This is from Catkin. It's a very pretty palette, and this is what it looks like. I think I'm gonna declutter this one as well and see if I can find a better home for it. It is absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just I have so many palettes and this is not anything that inspires me. So I'm gonna declutter that. I think it is time to declutter this final certified palette as well. This is like a rainbow palette with all matte shades, and yeah, I'm just not reaching for a rainbow all matte palette, sadly, and don't know what's happening with this brand. I think they had such a great thing going on with their looks and everything, but yeah, this is gonna find a better home. We have the Cinti palette from Midas Cosmetics. Midas with a Y, not Midas. And this is actually pretty nice. You have some special shades here that are quite cute. I hate the packaging though, it looks very childish. Don't know why I have it, but there we are. Also from Midas we have the Flower Bomb palette, which looks like this. I'm gonna keep it. Colorful and cute. This is also very matte heavy, but that's it. Pink Rose. Jesus, I have had these for a while now. We have this one. This is the Obsession, and we have the Bright Lights palette. I never use these. There are some pressed glitters here. I honestly never use this. Should I try to pan something here? Should I declutter? I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna keep them and try to remember to use them. Maybe put them in a project pan and see what I think about the formula. If it's still anything, any good or whatever. So then we have the Beauty Paint. I think it's called Beauty Social now. This is the Pom Pom Springs palette. Very bright. Don't use this much either, but I think I'm still gonna keep it. This green is really calling my name. How are you in pigment? Ooh, I don't know how you are in pigment. Maybe it's better on the eyes and not in the swatch. Then we have Soda. If you speak Japanese, you know. I got this from Beauty Bay. It's okay. It's a Little Mermaid palette. I'm gonna keep it. The formula is okay. Alright. I have from the brand. I have one random Huda Beauty here. Let me sort this out. I got this in an advent calendar. This is the Nude Dark Deep Rich palette. And I never use this. I should make use out of it. I'm not gonna declutter it. I will try and remember to use it. but yeah, it's not very used in my collection, so I'm gonna put it aside and try to remember it this fall. This is something I got from Italy. It's the Chiara Ferragni Los Angeles. It's a little cute 6-pan palette with a lot of nice like topper shades. Just gonna keep that one. And then we have Pariah Cosmetics. This cool handmade packaging. It's the Gone Grunge palette and it looks like this. This is a cool little indie brand. This is the So Strange palette. Don't know if it looks like a mess because it is shattered. I was panning this shade and it just kept breaking on me, and I can't repress it with, or like I tried to repress it with liquid and it's not making any difference. It just kept breaking and breaking and breaking, so I guess there isn't enough binding ingredients. But that is that palette. We have the Edgar Allan Poe palette. I don't remember the real name, but it looks like that. And that's the shades. And then we have this big wheel of the Lunarly Unfazed palette, which looks like this. So we are keeping those. I have 3 Kaleidos palettes. The Flower Punk palette is absolutely gorgeous. Really love this. This shade, I get so many compliments when I use this shade. It's like a dirty gold green shimmer shade. It is so beautiful, and I should definitely try and pull for these now. Again, these grungy tones that I love, but I never allow myself to wear. I don't know why. I'm too focused on my project panning goals. We have the collab with Angelica Nyqvist, the Club Nebula. This is beautiful. I am so happy that I got this all those years ago. Really lovely palette. And then I have the Escape Pod palette. The only issue I have with this is that they are bulky. But that's a very summery and bright palette. Talk about Glamlight. There are 2 Scooby-Doo smaller palettes. This is the Creeps and Crawls Jewel Toned Dream. Beautiful. And the Ruffro Raggy, which looks like this. Should definitely use these now. Also, save about everything. The Frosted Flakes was recently in a project pan. Really nice. These shades perform really great. Try to pan this one, use it as a liner, but it's such a pigmented shade, so there was no end in sight for that. The big Scooby-Doo palette with this retro-esque packaging looks like this. It is also very pretty. This shade is calling my name now, and this green, the grunge, is calling. And I have one Be Perfect. This is the Dream Big Manifest palette. This loves to be in my projects because it's so big and it's quite chaotic, but it still performs really nice, and I am keeping it. Should I have this one as my Panda palette in order? It's a big commitment, but the pans are not, as you can see, that deep, so could be a contester. And then I have Made by Mitchell. his bigger palettes that he released a couple of years ago. This is the Do You Want Some Milk palette. I have just finished panning, like getting a pan in all of these big palettes. So I had this shade that I was working on this year. We have the Head in the Clouds palette, which is looking like this, really pretty. I have a pan in this blue shade. The formula in these I really actually enjoy. And we have the Feet on the Ground palette here. All of these are very nice. Okay, let's talk about Glam Shop. I have two. These will not look the same as when they were sold. These are the Tropicana and the Celadon. Let me remove that swatch. Because I added some holographic shades because these had been into accidents and had shades falling out. So I have added two of Glam Shop's holographic shades in this one. But that one, it is looking a bit gnarly, so could possibly see myself pan that. And this is the other one. This is intact. Looks like it should be. And we have their spring release for, I think it was it last year? It's the Słodko. Why am I trying to read this upside down? Słodko Kwaśna. Maybe. Very pretty. Look at that green. So bright. We're gonna keep those. A brand I tested out, haven't heard anything about this brand, it's called Island Play. And I had this one in a project pan and I decided to declutter it when I have my declutter, but this is the Regima. It's just not sparking any joy in me. The shadows are okay, but it's not anything I would reach for over my special shade palettes. This is the other one, the Masquerade palette. I think I'm gonna keep this one because it's a bit brighter and more interesting in my opinion. So I'm gonna hang on to this one. I also have from a brand called Otaku Baby. They have such cute releases. My favorite anime of all time, Hunter x Hunter. They have a Hunter inspired palette and it looks like this. So did I buy it because of the inspiration? Yes. Are the shadows good? They are fine. But yeah, I love Hunter x Hunter. They have a Slay palette. This is inspired by Demon Slayer. This is looking nasty because I had a shade, I think this was a black pressed glitter. I tried to press in a yellow shade and it stained and it just wouldn't hold. So I have replaced it with a different, one of my single shadows. Don't really remember where you were from. Yeah, so it's looking a bit nasty. This is also something I could see myself pan, have pan the palette in order, just because I don't like it when my palettes look like this. So even though it's a cute, I love the Demon Slayer aspect, I would rather not have a palette looking this messy. So yeah. Then we have the Kira palette, inspired by Death Note, and if you have seen me, you know that I have a big ass Death Note tattoo on my arm. This is what that one looks like. I think I replaced this. This is a single shade from my collection, is it? Oh, maybe it wasn't. But it's a more neutral palette. This one is from my single eyeshadows. Yeah, I did I had some singles and there were some glitters in here and in other palettes that I didn't like, so I just switched them out with my singles. So that is the Kira palette, and yeah, I'm a sucker for the IP, so that's why we're keeping it. My only palette from Shall We Cosmetics, this is the Wolfa palette. It is so gorgeous. These shades are so nice, and yeah, very cute. I have some from the brand Chaotic Cosmetics. This is a little chrome palette, Spectra Chrome with 6. This is perfect to travel with. If you just want that, you know, that extra sparkle to your palette. The ice cream palette is a pastel, not super inspiring, but I'm gonna keep it anyways. The shades perform well. Then we have Sugar Drizzle Cosmetics, the rest of my palettes. We have the Pickle palette, which is so cute. Look at this cutie. We have the Margarita palette, no, the Mojito, because summer palette, of course, that's the name. And yeah, this is, I love green eyeshadow. It's my favorite color to wear, and this green looked sick AF. Oh yeah. We have the Dragonfly palette with the longest and cringiest name, so I'm not gonna say the cringy name, but that is the look of that. And it's my next goal to pan all of my Sugar Drizzle palettes. So we're keeping all of them. Oh yeah, I have another one. I have this Taco Kitty palette. Now this one is, the formula is a bit, you can feel this is an older shimmer formula. They have better formula now, but I'm not gonna get rid of it because Taco Kitty, Pizza Kitty, Taco. Yeah, we're keeping her. Okay, I have a couple of palettes from Cara Cosmetics. So we have this little cute one. This is the Aquarius palette. I am an Aquarius. And this is a cute pastel palette. This is actually a pressed glitter, and this is the best pressed glitter that I have come across, to be honest. It's very high impact. And not... I don't know, it's just something with this pressed glitter. It's not too, like the glitter is very, very, the glitter particles are very small, so it is very nice. I don't know what else to say. But Cara Cosmetics formula is actually surprisingly good. This is the Virgo palette, which I'm not a Virgo, but I only got it because of Color Story. Looks like that. Then I have these like more monochromatic palettes inspired by the 70s. This is the Flower Power, so it's an orange little thing. There we have the Summer Days, which is a green. Like they are monochromatic, but still, you know, you have the blues and the yellows as well, so they actually are very nice. We have the Confidential palette, and we have the Peace and Lovin'. And I should definitely pull one of these now, maybe the green or the yellow one, and just use a bit more because they haven't gotten that much use. Maybe we should try and show some love to these ones. Maybe. But we are keeping those. I actually enjoy them. I have a bunch of Moira Cosmetics here as well, so I have a lot of these palettes. This is the Like a Melody palette, which looks like this. Unearthly Cosmetics has also a surprisingly nice quality, because the price is not that high. So that is that one. We have the little Fairy Tale, which is more warm toned. And like, do I need all of these? Maybe I can get rid of this one. It's very neutral, and you know, it's not me. I'm gonna get rid of like a little Fairy Tale. We have the Fearless Heart, which actually reminds me a bit of the Baddie Bean collab with the Odin's Eye, now when I'm looking at it. Maybe we can get rid of this one as well, because I have these bright colors in other palettes. Yeah. We have the Sandcastles in the Sky. I'm gonna get rid of this one as well. It doesn't spark joy. Midnight Whispers has pans. Getting rid of this one as well. Then we have a dash of gold. Also a very neutral palette. I'm gonna get rid of that one. And now I'm like, do I get rid of this one? I think I am. I think I'm getting rid of all of my smaller Moira palettes. Because using these would like compromise me wanting to reach for a different palette, but then I'm reaching for this one. Yeah. I think I'm doing that. Did not see that one coming. We have the Sweet Delights, which is such a cute little chocolate box inspired palette with a lot of pastel shades here. I think I'm gonna keep this one, actually. It's cute and I want it. We have the Wanderlust palette, which looks like this. Here's the conundrum again. It's a rainbow palette. Maybe. I'm not feeling any of my Moira palettes. This is the Garden of My Mind. And then we have Pretty Little Thoughts. I think I'm gonna declutter all of them. I did not see that coming, or do I declutter this one? Yes, I'm decluttering all of these, so I'm only keeping one Moira palette. I did not see that coming, but we are doing it. I feel good about it. So talking about Gourmand girls, I have a little 6-pan from them. Looks like this. Also a great travel buddy. Keeping that. I have the Ethereal palette, which is this one. All shimmer shades, special shades, really lovely. Keeping that one. I'm keeping all of my Gourmand girls. The Radioactive palette is also an all shimmer palette. You know, remember when all of the brands released just all shimmer palettes? It was such a hype. And then I have 3 of these. We have the Spooked, which looks like this. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Need to play with this now. We have the Nightshade. This is amazing. I was blown away when I used this. It is very pretty. Again, like I want to use a yellow like this. Nueva Vida in collaboration with Steph's Beauty Stash. This is gorgeous as well. I really enjoy Gourmand Girl's formula. I think it's great. And this is such a fun palette. I'm keeping all of my Gourmand Girls. I have 3 palettes from Salem Cosmetics. We have these 2. This is from their old. They re-released this, I think, they have changed some of the shades. This is the Love is Blood palette. I think they are like nice. It's not a monochromatic in its entirety. You have some like yellows and browns, but I like the vibe. And we have the Perfect Happiness, which is like more blue and purple. I enjoy those. And then I have this one. I should absolutely pull this out now during fall. This is the Forest Heart in collaboration with Sminkberoende, which is, she's a super talented makeup artist. And definitely recommend following her on Instagram, YouTube. This is gorgeous. This shade has been like giving me some trouble because this one to escape, but yeah, this is definitely something I want to pull out now during fall. It is absolutely stunning. And then let's look at my Juvia's Place palettes. This oldie, this is the first Juvia's Place palette I got together with the Zulu palette. So this is like my very first order from Juvia's Place. I got these two. The Saharan 2 is still so pretty and performs so well, and yeah, it is. I'm gonna keep it, even though it is old now. The Zulu is not. I don't like this as much. I don't know, it's something about the tones, but I am still gonna keep this one. I think. Am I? No, I'm not. Let me declutter this one. I don't feel very inspired to look at this. So I'm gonna declutter it. Who knew? My first Juvia's Place declutter. The Deuce is surprisingly great. Really, I really enjoy this color story. It's very cute. You can also use like these as blushes. So we're keeping her. We have the Festival, which is also very nice. This is a stunning mustard. This is the stunning blush shade. I'm gonna keep that. We have the Tribe, and I love my greens. And if you're interested in the Yucca palette and you don't have it, this is actually like, I saw Alejandra Lisette swatch them like in comparisons, and it was surprisingly very similar shades between the two. I'm gonna keep that. We have the Magic Mini, which is very nice. I still enjoy this little palette. We have the Masquerade Mini. Don't really. Maybe I should get rid of this one as well. Yeah, I'm gonna declutter this one. Actually, it is time. Then we have the Nubian 2. Looks like that. This is a very rich and nice shade. This is nice, but it's like, it's not giving me joy. I'm gonna declutter her. Am I? Sorry if it's like weird shadows because the sun just got out again. Maybe I will declutter her. The Warrior is a neutral palette. And now when I have the nude trolls, I'm wondering if I don't need this. Because I have that one. It's just like this shade, which is nice. This matte shade, but maybe I can declutter the Warrior as well. Let's see what I can do about the lighting. This is the Afrique palette, and this still performs great. I think I'm gonna keep this one. And this is the Saharan. And this is something I can do Panda palette in order with also, maybe. I'm gonna keep it. Okay, I have 2 palettes from Game Beauty. I don't have their Attack on Titan palettes because they were quads and I could have done so much with Attack on Titan and I don't know. I was a bit disappointed. These are the 2 I have. I have this Cyberpunk palette, and I mean the quality is not my favorite, but I'm gonna keep this because I enjoy the packaging, the theming and everything. So we are keeping the Cyberpunk, and we have the Harbinger palette here. That one looks like, so it's more neutral. Then I'm gonna keep that one as well. They are cute. I like the packaging. We have 2 palettes from AJ Beauty, LEJ. This is the Shift palette, and it's a stunning all shimmer palette with just fun, bright, sparkly shades. Keeping that, and we have the Gourd, Oh My Gourd palette, which I maybe should bring out now. Looks like that. Also some fun sparkly shades, but there are mattes in here as well. I'm gonna keep that. I have 1 palette left from the brand Maybe Beauty. This is the Take Me to Tokyo palette, and it's a bright, fun palette. So maybe something I should play around with now, because I will be going to Tokyo soon. But I'm gonna keep it. This is the random pile, if you're wondering. I have 1 from Terra Moon's Cosmetics. This is the Cosmic Wanderer palette, and I have the shade in this one, but it kept breaking and breaking and breaking because it was in my project pan. And yeah, this is what the palette looks like. I'm very careful to do anything with this palette. To tilt it too much will maybe make some shades fall out, but it's a gorgeous palette, and the formula is very nice. It's just such a shame that it's so fragile. The Pixie Grow by It's Belle Cosmetics. This is a gorgeous palette. This was so nice to play around with. I remember being so amazed by the quality of this palette, and I should bring it out. Putting it aside to remember myself. We have MBA Cosmetics, the Cosmic Bubbles palette. Looks like this. Quite cute. The Enchanted Forest palette from Queen Cosmetics. This is so beautiful. I don't know what happened with this brand, because they released this and Tati promoted it on her channel, and it was very viral, and then I don't know what happened. But this is a stunning palette. It's just such a shame that these special shades, which I just stuck my finger into, crease on me. They are very, very creamy, too creamy, so they crease. But this is great. I brought it traveling many a times. My only palette I have left from the brand 50/50. This is no longer a brand either, but I kept the colorful one, and I don't know, should I keep it hanging around? Let's keep it. It's fine. This brand hasn't released anything else. This is Dream House Midnight Garden palette. Looks like this. Like in the era of special shifty shades, this feels a bit lackluster, to be honest. So maybe I should declutter this one. It's not sparking joy, so let's do that. This is from Cleona Cosmetics. It's a dragon fruit palette. I love this shimmer palette. It is so stinking beautiful, and I should wear this more. But alas, I haven't. My only palette from the very hyped brand Enslaved Rain. This is the what are you called? Tea Party. No, this is the right way. Absolutely beautiful. I love Alice in Wonderland. I think it is a fascinating story that has inspired so much pop culture. So this is what that one looks like. Beautiful. I have some palettes from Adept Cosmetics. This is the House of L, and this looks like that. This shade is like so beautiful. It is one of my favorite shades in my entire collection, no joke. Should be playing around with this one more as well. It is gorgeous. We have these are Glaminatrix. These are Adept. The Plain Jane Remastered. Looks like that. I'm sorry about this shadow. It's just like how the sun moved. And don't see my ugly face. It is nice. Not as nice as I thought it was going to be, but... And this is the Heather Austin collab, which is really nice for fall. Yeah. Then I have Glaminatrix. I have two. I have the Nocturnal palette, which looks like this. So beautiful. I should absolutely have this out now. It looks basically a new... I know I have used it, but not all of the shades. So I'm gonna put that one to the side to play around with. And the Glamorous palette, which is also such a beautiful palette. Really lovely. The brand Michelou. Don't know what's happening with this brand, but they had this like very gorgeous packaging. This is the Queen Bee. It's a neutral palette, but like I'm gonna keep it. I actually enjoy the formula. We have the Witchcraft palette, which looks like this. Dark and gloomy. And we have the Fawn palette, which is a bit more neutral. I think I'm gonna keep those actually. I do enjoy the formula. I have 3 Lime Crime palettes. We have the Prelude palette, which looks like that. These 2 shades are really, really stunning in the corner. This is a very nice, like, iridescent blue shade. We have the Venus 2, which looks like that. Also quite fall and grungy. I'm gonna keep that. And we have the Venus XL2 palette, which looks like that. And it's very reflective, I'm sorry. But I don't even know how to show you. We're keeping it. Then let's talk some Colourpop. I have, as I said, I love Alice in Wonderland. This palette, however, is... I don't know, guys. If it's calling to me the way I want it to. Maybe I can keep it a bit longer and play around with it some more. It's fairly new. The Tinkerbell palette is so cute. As I said, I love my green eyeshadows, so should be playing around with this a bit more though. The Child palette, of course, looks like that. Very cute, see? I'm keeping. This one I think I'm gonna get rid of. This is the Cabana Club palette. It's just not anything that really inspires me, to be honest. I'm gonna declutter that one. And then we have the palette, the Harry Potter palette that I bought because I love Harry Potter, but you know, she who must not be named. I shouldn't have bought this because I don't want to give her any money. It's Harry Potter is her IP, unfortunately. What do we do? I'm gonna keep it because I have it. It's very neutral, so I mean, I just got it because I'm such a Harry Potter fanatic. In hindsight, I have made better decisions in my life, but you know, here we are. We're keeping it. Then I have a couple of Lurella palettes, and I actually enjoy the Lurella quality. This is the Night Thinker palette, which is like cool toned. I have two pans in this one. We have the Daydreamer, which is a pastel one. We have the Las Comrades, which is quite colorful. Looks like that. We have the Totally Tubular. Looks like that. Colorful story here. We have the Excuse Me in collab with Must Be Cindy. Very colorful. And we have the Rocking Moroccan, which looks like that. I think I'm gonna keep all of them actually. The only thing is, do I want to keep this? Excuse me. Excuse me, maybe. Yeah, I'm keeping that one. Alright. I have a bunch of Lethal Cosmetics palettes. Don't know if I will get rid of them. Maybe one. This one I won't get rid of. This is the Teresa is Lethal palette, and it's a collab with Teresa instead. Really lovely. I love Teresa, and absolutely 100% keeping that one. This is the one I'm contemplating if I should get rid of. This is the Berlin 89. It is just not super inspiring, but maybe I can keep it. You have like this, it looks red, but if you look at the pan, it looks green in the mirror, so it's a duochrome. I can keep it. It doesn't take up that much space. This is the, what are you, Night Flower? the day. I have both of them. Night Flower and what was the other one? I don't remember the name. Beautiful palette. Absolutely gorgeous. Really, really enjoy this one. And I really, really enjoy this one. The formula is amazing, I think, on these palettes. We have this green one, also really, really stunning. I think I might have shifted some of the shades if you wonder if... I don't think they look... Because I had like 2 shades that were a bit similar, so I think I switched them out. Very handy, you can do that on lethal palettes because you can just poke the shades out. We have these 2 moth palettes thing. So we have the... It's annoying that they don't put the names here. This one. Looks a bit like the Venus XL palette from Lime Crime. And we have this one, which is a much more mauvey full tone story. And we have their 2 game inspired palettes. So this is the first one that they released. Level Up palette. Very cute and fun. And then we have the 2 Up palette. Some of the shades in this one were a bit duds, but... And there is a lot of wasted space here. But we're keeping that one. Then I have a couple of palettes from the Pastel Roses. This is the Angel palette. And it looks like this. It's one of their older palettes. I enjoy the Pastel Roses. They have some fun shifty shades. The Frozen Dreams palette was released, I think it was maybe winter last year. Looks like that. We have the Ghost Show palette. And I think I have replaced one of the shades in this one because it broke. So it might look a bit different. I think it was this shade that broke, or if it was this one. And we have Spells and Potions. I think this was the release for last Halloween. Looks like that. And we have the Rose Delight for Valentine's this year. Looks like that. And we have the Heavenland. And it looks like that. So keeping all of my Pastel Roses palettes as well. And let's talk about this pile here. A palette I got in an advent calendar, I think it was last year, is the Bella Pierre Ultimate Nude. So it sounds like my perfect palette, right? The Ultimate Nude. It's very nude. But you have some colorful shades there. I'm gonna keep it. I haven't used it much at all, but I am going to keep it. It's not old. From Peachy Queen, we have this little sushi guy here. Looks like that. I'm keeping it because it's cute. The quality is a-okay. Inspired by Breaking Bad, we have the Breaking Shades palette. Let me open it. This is what it looks like. I was panning this one, and as I said, the quality is fine. We have the little Grinch palette here with pressed glitter, which is not my fave, but it looks like that. We have a tarot, how do you say? Tarot thing there. And there we have the camera. You can see Eren Jäger. There, and the Angel palette, which is a pastel palette. These are a bit dusty, but I think I'm gonna keep it. I'm keeping it 1 year still. A brand that I think we should talk more about is Playing in Makeup by Yolanda. I'm panning their concealer and it's absolutely great. This palette is humongous, but it is stunning. I should play with this much more than I have. Will absolutely put it away to do so. It's the, what are you called? Vigorously eyeshadow palette. Look at this packaging. Gorgeous. Also from Playing in Makeup by Yolanda, it's their Paint Me Chrome palette. This is an all shimmer palette. Absolutely gorgeous shades in here. Very, very enjoyable. I got this as a gift with purchase when I made my order. So it's a little purple palette here. Really nice purple shades, perform super well. So we should definitely talk more about this brand. I have some old Bella Beauté Bar palettes here, like a super old pastel palettes, the Metamorphosis palette. I have switched out because the middle row here was just super chunky press glitters. Like you will absolutely cut your eyes if you use them on your eyelids. So I switched them out with singles from my collection. So it's looking very weird. It's not looking like it did when I got it. That is that one. The Poison Garden palette, the Poison Garden 2. I saw that they are releasing a face palette with this packaging, so they are bringing the packaging back. This is what that one looks like. Very nice. And I have an all shimmer palette from them. This is the Euphoric Dreams, which is like, no, it's not an all shimmer. You have some mattes up here. Purples and pinks. Two palettes from Blam Money. I have the Makina palette as well, but these are the ones in my collection and not in Project Pans. The Surge palette. Love like the look of this. Very much enjoy that one. And we have the Lore palette here, which looks like this. So pretty. Then I have my Nomad bunch here. So we have the Nomad and Venice Simple and Express palette here. And this one I think I'm gonna declutter. It is nice, but yeah, I have more exciting palettes in my collection, so we're gonna declutter that one. This is a new one for the summer, the Key Beachy and Peachy palette. So cute, so summery. This one is lovely. I used it like my main shade. It was absolutely gorgeous. We have the old Nomad Harajuku Tokyo palette, the pastel palette here. Absolutely keeping. It is just so cute. And this one I contemplated getting rid of last year. It's the Marrakesh palette, I think. But I mean, the packaging is just so beautiful. But this is what it's looking like. So maybe I should get rid of this one, because I really haven't used it since discussing it last year on this declutter. I'm gonna declutter that one. We have the New Zealand Stargazing palette. This palette has some amazing shifty shades. See if I can catch them on camera. In the mirror, maybe. Maybe you can see some shiftiness here. Yeah, really beautiful palette. And this Green Dream from this year's St. Patrick's Day, like only greens. Love it. I love it. So absolutely keeping that one. The Haunted Europe, I should get out this. I saw that they are bringing this one back, maybe with their new formula, but I should be playing with this one now this spooky season. So those were the Nomad palettes. Then I have two palettes from the brand Titanium Foxes, which is a new indie brand from Europe. I think it was from France or Belgium, if I remember correctly. So this is their last release. Very bright and fun. And then it's the Poppy Quiet, and this is the Poppy Storm palette, which is a lot darker and grungier and fall. I have two big Pat McGrath palettes. This is from their holiday a couple of years ago. It's the Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey. And it looks like that. I am keeping. This cost me a pretty penny. And we have the other mega palette here. I hope they release a mega palette like this year and not like whatever bullshit they brought out last year. This is the, what are you, Artistry palette? Celestial Nirvana. And it looks like that. Alright. Okay, we have Fantasy Cosmetica to talk about. So we have the Druid palette. This is perfect for fall as well. Very grungy. They have such a great shimmer formula. I really enjoy this brand. We have the Bard palette here, which is also a good like late summer into fall palette. Really cute. We have the Sorcerer, which is brighter, pinks and such. And we have the Wizard. This is the last palette I got from them, which is like yellows and deep blues. Very nice. We have the Rogue palette, which looks like this. I just love the look of this brand, and these palettes are so cool. The Warrior, the Fighter palette, I mean. A bit more neutral, but still with like a twist. And finally, the Warlock palette. Looks like that. Absolutely love this brand. Definitely keeping everything. I have two palettes from Ace Beauté. Does anyone know what's happening with Ace Beauté? They haven't released shit in forever. So I have the Envy and the Aura palette. And these should also be loved more than they have been. Like this green Lovely Dream. And the Aura palette looks like that. Very pretty, absolutely keeping. This is a brand I love, but the issue is that they only release shit on pre-order, and it's the brand Mika Beauty. So when you put down an order, it's just pre-order, and the shipping time will be like they send your order to the production, and it will be like 6 weeks, and then something happened, so it was my last order with them was delayed, so it took like 3 months. So I'm not ordering from them anymore. It sucks because the formula is great, but I'm just not ordering shit that will be like shipped 3 months after. This one looks nasty because it has spilled out, but it's like come on. Do you see how just sparkly and creamy that is? So this is the Forever Young. We have their Peacock palette here, which looks like that. We have there, this was the one that took so long, so I said no, not again. This is the Earth Wizards palette, and it looks like that. So you have like shimmers in the middle and some funky mattes. The Nebula palette, the Butterfly Kaleidoscope had also an insanely long shipping time, if I remember. And it's sad because look at the shades. This is a collab with Marta's makeup. It's the Serpent palette. Should be bringing this one out for fall. Look at this. Yummy color story. And the Glacier palette, which looks like this. So lovely eyeshadows, but too much fuss to get a hold of it. Then we have a lot of V Cosmetic palettes here. We have the I Put a Spell on You palette there. And I am not sure. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one, I think. We have the Green Witch, which looks like this. We have the It's Only Magic palette. We have the Book of Shadows. I think I'm gonna declutter this one. Yeah. Let's declutter that one. The Lovers. It's very bright. And then I have two from the brand September Rose, which is no longer a brand. So we have the Brew, like coffee, which is a neutral palette. I think I'm gonna keep this one here, even though it's neutral. This color looks very nice, and yeah, I'm gonna keep that. We have the Slush palette, which is this one. I'm gonna keep that one as well. We're soon there, guys. From Cursed Cosmetics, we have the Bites palette, which is this coffin. And what do we think about this? It's like what do we think? I'm gonna declutter this one. Also from Cursed, we have the Asylum 49 Haunted Hospital. This is an all matte palette. I think I'm gonna keep this one. The Spellbook palette from Cursed, with some pressed glitters. I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. And now on to Gimme Glow Cosmetics. This is the Juicy Olive palette. I love this palette. And it's looking like this. A dry martini, please. We also have the Pastel Dreams palette, which looks like this. Definitely keeping. I think the formula is great. And then we have Clarity Cosmetics. So we have the Apocalypse palette, which looks like this. Clarity also has a very, very fragile eyeshadow quality, which is a bit annoying. This is a stunning palette. Really love it. The So Mermazing palette is a pastel one. And the Komodo palette. Keeping all of those. We have also the Aloha palette, which is a super nice summer palette. There. I was working on this for my project pan, and you can like barely tell that I have used it. Very hard pressed shades. This is the Lost at Sea. Looks like an Odin's Eye palette because the pans are the same. And then finally, this is an unexpected love, the Bridal Party. It looks so neutral, but the shades are so great. Unfortunately, we have had an accident. The shade imploded. It like had some air, so it like got a crater and then everything just fell out. But this palette is really, really stunning actually. So we are keeping those. And then the final palettes. Let's talk about my Martine Cosmetics palettes. This is a fun brand with some funky things. We have the, don't know how you say this. This is a Belgian brand, a French Belgian. Join a Buzz, maybe. Have some pink tones in here. And look at that imprint on that ass. We have this one, which looks like a credit card. I do love this packaging. I also enjoy that it's a bit thinner because they have very bulky packaging. So this looks like that. Very cute. We have the Mission Triple X palette, which is green and grey. This reminds me of the Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy palette. I love this. Their Shark Zone palette. Look at this packaging. It's so cute. And that is that one. This is the first palette I got from the brand. It's their 666 palette, I think it is. And it looks like this. And then their Christmas palette 2 years ago, I think, is this. So I'm keeping all of those, but yeah, bulky packaging is a bit annoying. So that is it, guys. Let me count the palettes that I am going to declutter, because it was a lot more than I actually expected. So let's see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 28 palettes that I will be decluttering from my collection. Give my collection some breathing room, you know, making room for new and exciting things. I would rehouse these palettes to my friends, who I think will be happy to pick and choose what they want. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this full collection video. I hope it doesn't, like, it will be a long one, but yeah, I have a lot of eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow, and it gives me joy to play around with makeup and play around with eyeshadow. So yeah, I know that this is an excessive amount, but it also is my passion. So yeah, please let me know what you think. I will post some kind of what panda palette in order should I do on Instagram polls soon-ish, when I have time, when I get better. But yeah, I hope that you are all well out there. Please say hi in the comments. I always love to hear from you. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys!